Croeso pawb to the Black Friday PSN sale. This sale ends on the 30th of November, so that's your last day to pick up these deals. Don't forget, if you got a PS5 or you're looking to get one, there's a PS Plus collection with 20 free games available on it, and some of those games are in these sales, so be careful when you're picking up games. You might just be picking up a game you're getting free soon. Okay guys, let's look at the games. Our first game is Ace Combat 7, Skies Unknown. It was released in 2019, so it was only a year old, and it's on a 68% discount for a price of £15.99, which isn't the best price, but it's the cheapest I've ever seen it. And this is from a legendary game series that's really good quality and deserves its reputation. This game also includes some VR levels, which is what I really want it for, because I love Top Gun, and this is the closest you're going to get in PSVR. If you like modern fighter planes, this is the game for you, it's essential. And if you've always wanted to play one of those games, this is the best series to start with. Why not check it out? A Plague Tale: Innocence is our next game. It was released in 2019, so it's only a year old as well, and it's on a 70% discount for a price of £13.49. This isn't the best price, but it's a new game, and it's not a bad discount. It'll probably get cheaper in the future once they drop the original price, but if you've been waiting to pick this up on sale, this is a pretty decent sale to pick it up on, as you'd probably have to wait a while before it drops a lot lower. This game is an action-adventure horror game with stealth elements, where you play a brother and sister running for their lives during a plague. It involves a lot of sneaking past guards, and dark themes with the plague and the rats that are infested with it, so it's a little creepy too. It got really good reviews when it came out, and a lot of people seem to love it, so it's definitely worth thinking about if you like the sound of that. Up next is my star buy, City Skylines, Mayor's Edition. It was released in 2019, so it's only a year old, and it's on a 75% discount for a price of $21.24. I usually don't pick games that are this expensive as my star buy, but considering the monumental amount of DLC that's included in this bundle, it's such a good value for anyone that loves this game, or even is interested in this genre, that I just had to pick it. You just can't get better value than this in this sale, because it includes nearly £66 worth of DLC. That's crazy. The DLC includes 5 expansions, 5 content packs, and 2 radio station packs. This edition of the game would have cost £85 at full price, and considering you're getting nearly £70 worth of DLC, that's a really good deal. If you like city builder games, or you really like City Skylines, this is a really good bundle at a great price. And if you don't have it but you want it, this is definitely the time to think about picking it up. Like I said, this is my star buy guys, so you definitely should at least consider checking this game out. It may just be the best game you find this sale. There's quite a lot of Dark Souls games around at the moment, and this one's no exception, Dark Souls Remastered. It was released in 2018, so it's 2 years old, but it's a remaster of an older game, so keep that in mind. It's on a 70% discount for a price of £10.49, which isn't bad because it includes the Artorias of the Abyss DLC as well. So if you're a fan of Souls games, but you never played the original, this is a really good time to pick this up, and see where it all started. But if you've already played it, there are a lot of Souls-like games on sale right now, so maybe have a look at one of the others instead. And just in case you don't know what this is, it's a third-person action RPG that is pretty challenging and requires you to improve your skills in order to progress to the end. That's why a lot of people love this game series, and why it's pretty legendary these days. Our next game is Diablo 3 Eternal Collection. It was released in 2017, so it's 3 years old, and it's on a 70% discount for a price of £6.49, which is not bad because it includes over £20 worth of DLC, which is basically 2 full expansions for it. This game is probably the most famous isometric RPG game around. The third game isn't thought of in the same regards as the first two, but if you're not a huge Diablo fan and you just like these sorts of games, this is a really good one, especially at this price. So if you fancy an isometric RPG, take a look at this, it's one of the best series around. We're going old school for the next one, Ghostbusters the video game Remastered. It was released in 2019, so it's 1 year old, but it originally came out on PS3 and Xbox 360, so it's much older than that. But it's on a 75% discount for a price of £6.24, which is pretty cheap. The story for this game is written by the original writers of the first 2 Ghostbuster movies, and in interviews they basically said that this is the 3rd movie. So if you liked the first 2 original movies and you wanted them to make a 3rd, this is basically as close as you're going to get to that. I completed this back in the PS3 days, and I loved it. The game mechanics may be a bit aged now, but the story's still great, and if you've always wanted to bust some ghosts, you'll have a lot of fun with this, you really will. One for the old school fans, I think, although it's worth a try if you're interested, even if it's just for the Ghostbusters story. The next game is Greedfall. It was released in 2019, so it's only a year old, and it's on a 70% discount for a price of £13.49, which is pretty decent, and the cheapest I've seen it so far. This is a high-production, third-person action RPG, and it has some really in-depth systems, like your decisions really affect the story, but they also affect your characters. You can recruit a load of people to be party members, and your decisions through the game affect how they think of you and how they treat you. Some becoming friendlier, some becoming more hostile, and it makes it a really dynamic, unique experience for the player. And it's also got a really cool 17th century fantasy setting. All in all, it was reviewed very well when it came out, and it's well thought of. It's also pretty new, so it's a good price considering all of that. Definitely worth looking at for fans of RPGs. You should have a load of fun with it. Metro Exodus is next. It was released in 2019, so it's a year old as well, and it's on a 67% discount for a price of £11.54, which is really cheap considering it's new. This series is great, and even though this third one didn't get the same fanfare as the first two, it's still a really good game, and it's still really well thought after. It's a great first-person shooter set in a post-apocalyptic Russia, where there's a lot of irradiated areas and you have to use a lot of gas masks and survival techniques while traversing the world. Your characters abandon the underground tunnels that they lived in and travel across the country on a train. So it's a lot more dynamic than the first two. If you're looking for a decent first-person shooter to play right now, this is a really good one, so you might want to check it out. More old school is next. Spyro Reignited Trilogy. It was released in 2019, so it's only a year old, but they're a remaster of games that are way older than that really, like from the 90s, but it's on a 65% discount for a price of £12.24. I played this series originally in the 90s on PlayStation 1, and they're amazing, I really do love them, and they're just as good now, but with way better graphics and improved gameplay mechanics, while still being true to the originals. If you love 3D platformers, you'll have a lot of fun with these. They're some of the best ones you can get right now. And this is a fantastic price to pick up the whole trilogy, so have a look, they're a really awesome series. Up next is Stellaris Console Edition Deluxe Edition. It was released in 2019, so it's only a year old, and it's on a 75% discount for a price of £12.49, which is really good, because it includes over £20 worth of DLC content, including a content expansion, a story expansion, and a new planetoid species to play. So you're getting a lot of extra DLC included in this bundle, and the DLC is worth twice as much as the bundle, so that's a pretty decent deal. Stellaris is one of the best 4X strategy games, especially if you like the theme of sci-fi. This is great. It has planetary management, solar systems, universes, ship battles, diplomacy, all the usual things you would expect from a 4X strategy game, but from a legendary developer with AAA production standards. If you like 4X strategy, this is one of the best modern ones. You really should look at it if you love these sorts of games. And if you've never played one, why not check it out? You may just find your new favourite genre. We have a racing game next, The Crew 2 Standard Edition. It was released in 2018, so it's 2 years old, and it's on a 70% discount for a price of £11.99. This game is pretty decent, and you get to race with planes, boats and cars in it, so it's pretty varied compared to some of the other racing games. And it's got some pretty decent reviews as well. So if you're an arcade racer, and you're looking for a game to pick up for now, and you haven't played this, it might be a decent option, because it looks pretty good and it's pretty varied with the different vehicle types. Definitely worth considering if you're looking for a racing game. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Game of the Year Edition is next. It was released in 2016, so it's 4 years old, and it's on a 70% discount for £10.50, which is really good, because it includes all of the DLC. That's all of the expansions and everything. And on top of that, CD Projekt Red said that anyone that owns The Witcher will get the PS5 version when it releases for free. So that sounds like a really good deal to me. Pick up the complete edition right now for $10.50 and then get the PS5 version for free when it releases. If they stick to their word, that's a steal. Getting a really amazing game and the better version for free. I've picked this up myself, just waiting for it to come out on PS5 so I can play it in 4K with better graphics. I'm really looking forward to that, and maybe you will too. World War Z is next. It was released in 2019, so it's 1 year old, and it's on a 70% discount for a price of £7.49, which is not bad. Now this game is basically a modern rip-off of Left 4 Dead, but with better graphics and slightly buggier gameplay. But one thing it does better than Left 4 Dead is the zombie hordes. This game has a load of zombies on screen at once, and they all flow at you just like in the movie, where they try and climb on top of each other to get to you, just like waves and waves of them. This game looks like a ton of fun, and even though it was buggy on release, at this price it may be worth looking at because there's just not a lot of Left 4 Dead sort of games around these days, and this is a really new one, and pretty decent one as well, at a good price. So maybe have a look at it if that sounds good to you. And the last game I have for you this sale is Yakuza Kiwami. It was released in 2017, so it's 3 years old, and it's on a 70% discount for a price of £4.79, which is really good, especially for a game of this quality. The Yakuza series are really great. They're basically an over-the-top exaggerated version of GTA but set in Japan, and everybody that plays them just loves them. They've got a really cool beat-em-up fighting system, and usually include a ton of interesting stories and a load of interesting game mechanics in the side quests and mini-games. If you like open-world action games, or are interested in the Japanese culture in general, you might want to check these out because they're a lot of fun. So that's all of the games I have for you for the Black Friday PSN sale. There weren't really a lot of good deals in this sale, but to be honest I kind of expect that with Black Friday deals. It kind of seems like a marketing ploy to me to trick people into buying stuff they don't really want. And in general I find that there's usually better deals to be had before and after Christmas, with the Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales just being a big marketing ploy. And you can definitely see that here. The PlayStation Indie sale that just finished had way better deals in it, at way lower prices, and even now, the Games Under £16 sale has way better deals than the Black Friday sale, by far. So yeah, a bit of a life lesson there, don't believe the marketing when it comes to Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals as they call them. Anyway, what do you think of the games I picked? Did I pick good ones? Did I pick bad ones? Did I miss out on a load of good deals that I should have included? And what do you think of my start buy? It's an unusual one, so I'm genuinely interested what you think. Anyway, I hope you guys found some games you're interested in. But more importantly, I hope you guys saved yourselves a load of money. And I'll see you guys in the next video.